Good morning, students. This is my fourth lecture for drug discovery and drug design. Now, in the previous lecture, we discussed about the drug distribution, drug metabolism, drug absorption, drug distribution, drug metabolism, drug excretion, and and coming to a pharmacodynamic action. We have discussed a pharmacodynamic action for anti-ulcer drug as well as for anti-hypertensive drugs. After that, we have to study a drug targets. Drug targets. Drug targets. Now, a macromolecular. Briefly, we have discussed in earlier class a macromolecular components. Macromolecular components of the cell to which a drug bind. This is binding. A macromolecular component to which our drug bind to show its action. These macromolecular components are called as drug targets. The macromolecular components are called as drug targets. Now there are four type of macromolecular components, that is a drug targets to which our drug bind to show its activity. There are four type of drug targets. Drug targets are four types. Number one, receptor. The prime target for the drug action are the receptors, ion channels. And enzymes. Carrier molecules. Wait for me. Now there are four type of drug targets or macromolecular components. Some drugs are bound with a receptor, some other drugs are bound with ion channels, some other drugs are bound with enzyme, or some other kind of the drugs may bound with carrier molecules. So these are the four main targets for the drug action. Why only these are the four targets for drug action? That is, my question is, why the receptor, or why the ion channel, or why the enzyme, or why the carrier molecules are becoming a targets? Why should our drug to be bound with either receptor or ion channel or enzyme or carrier molecule? Because most of the diseases to the human or animal body may be due to the dysfunctioning, incorrect functioning of either receptors or ion channels or enzymes or carrier molecules. So when their functions are incorrect, not a proper, causes a cellular effects called as a disease. So various types of diseases arise due to dysfunctioning of either receptor or ion channel or enzyme or a carrier molecule. Therefore our drug should bound with either receptor or ion channel or enzyme or carrier molecule, and then their function to be corrected, because the disease arises due to their dysfunctioning. So our drug molecule must bind with the either receptor, ion channel, or whatever it may be, and then correct their function and set the cellular functions and correct the cellular functions that leads to relieving from the particular disease. So these are the 4 targets included in your syllabus. Let us discuss one by one in detail. The first target. The first target for drug action is receptor. Receptors. Now, a highly conservative or highly sensitive area. A highly sensitive area present on a cell surface with a specific functional group, either to bound with the drug molecule or to bound with the antigens. A specific or sensitive area on a cell surface with an appropriate functional group, either to bind with the drug or either to bound with any antigen, called as receptors. Receptors. Say this is one cell. This is the cell. Now, this is the receptor. A receptor. A receptors are 2 types. Surface receptor are called as membrane receptor. Some other type of receptors are called as nucleoreceptors. The receptor which present on a cell surface are called as membrane receptor. The receptor which are present on a surface of the nuclei called as nucleoreceptors. So there are 2 type of receptor. What is receptor? A highly sensitive area present on a cell surface with an appropriate functional group, either to bind with a drug molecule or to bind with an antigen. So this is called as a receptor. It has different functional group on its surface, say X functional group or Y functional group, etc. There are different functional group on its surface. The receptor has a functional group, say X functional group and Y functional group. Is it clear? So that is the definition of receptor. Now, the function of receptor is to control. We are discussing about its function. What is the function of receptor? The function of receptor is to control all the biochemical process happen inside the cell by connecting to the specific enzymes which are involving in bioprocesses through a secondary messengers. So whatever the biochemical process happen inside the cell, say A plus B are transforming into some C compound. So this is a biochemical process happening inside the cell. A plus B are transforming into C in the presence of enzyme. So this is the receptor which connected with this enzyme, connected with the enzyme, biochemical process enzyme through a secondary messengers, either ATP or GTP or cytosolic calcium, etc. So the receptor present on a cell surface always controlled the biochemical processes happen inside the cell, connecting with the specific enzymes which involving in biochemical processes connecting through a secondary messengers. So with the response of only receptor, all the processes are done inside the cell. If a sufficient amount of compound C is synthesized by biochemical process, then the receptor will give the message to specific enzyme to be stopped its functioning for certain time. So after that, now whatever the seed formed or synthesized by the cell through biochemical process can be consumed for its metabolic need, so that the compound C concentration slowly decreases. Now under that condition, the receptor will again give the message to the specific enzyme to be starts again its functioning. Then the the enzyme will starts to convert A plus B into C again. So this is the chain process always happen inside the cell. So the process will be controlled by the receptor present on a cell surface. Is it clear? So the function of receptor is not only to control the biochemical process and also to control the channel function. This is ion channel. This is ion channel, again present on a cell surface, internally connected with the channel, with the receptor. A ion channel internally connected with the receptor. Plus sign indicated opening of the gate, minus sign indicated closing of the gate. So this is the ion channel. It is present on a cell surface to allow or to prevent certain ions to be enter into the cell. So ions. So the channel, ion channel, is also present on a cell surface. It internally connected with the receptor. With the response of receptor, the gate may be opened or the gate may be closed in order to permit or in order to prevent the entry of certain ions into the cell if necessary for biochemical process. So there are two functions for receptor. One function is to control the biochemical process. The other function is also to control the channel function. That is, channel is functioned only with the response of receptor. So this is the functioning of receptor. Is it clear? Now, if any antigen, what is antigen? Any material that is not useful to our body. Any material that is not useful to our body is called as antigen. Antigen. Now, earlier we discussed that a receptor is present on a cell surface with a specific functional group, either to bind with drugs or either to bind with antigens. If any antigen bind with the functional group present on a receptor surface, then the receptor fails its normal functioning. It is unable to regulate or unable to, under the conditions where the antigen bind with the surface of receptor with a functional group present on a receptor, then that disturb the functioning of receptor. Hence the receptor is unable to control all the biochemical processes. It cannot regulate it. It is unable to regulate the biochemical process, that leading to cellular disturbances, disturbance of all biochemical processes, called as cellular disturbances. Cellular disturbances. Now under the condition where an antigen, if bind with a receptor functional group, and that will disturb the function of receptor, so that the receptor is unable to control the biochemical processes, or the receptor is unable to control the channel function. So that leading to disturbance of all the biochemical process, called as cellular disturbances that leads to a disease. A disease. That leads to a various cellular diseases. Is it clear? So that is the now. You observe the disease is arised. The disease is arised. How? By the disturbance of cell functions, through the dysfunctioning of receptor. When the receptor fails to do normal functioning, when the receptor fails to control the biochemical process, causes a cellular disturbances, nothing but a disease. So here the disease is arised due to the dysfunctioning of improper functioning of receptor. Hence, the receptors are becoming target for drug action. These receptors are becoming a target for drug action. So in that case, now we are using a drugs. We are using certain suitable drugs. So this is the drug molecule. So when we target that receptor with our drug, a drug molecule go and bind with the receptor and bind with the functional group provided for that in order to bind on a receptor. Is it clear? Once again, when we apply a drug molecule to cure these diseases, the disease arises due to the dysfunctioning of receptor, a drug simply reach to the target, to the particular receptor, that is called as its target, and bind with the functional group present on a receptor surface. Bind with the functional group present on a receptor surface. Is it clear? Now, at the site of receptor or at receptor site, there is a competition. There is a competition to bind with the functional group of receptor. The competition is in between either antigen and a drug molecule. Now at the site of receptor, at receptor site, there is a competition between antigen and a drug molecule. Antigen and a drug molecule towards binding with a receptor. But between the competition between the antigen and drug, in order to bind with the receptor, the drugs initially designed in such a way to have more ability towards the receptor. That is, while we are designing a drug molecule, we are provided a polar functional group, or we are introduced a polar functional group, so that we are designed a drug molecule to have more binding ability towards the receptor, that is towards the target, when compared with the binding ability of antigen. When compared with the binding ability of antigen. Are you following? Now, once again, at the receptor, this is the receptor, at the receptor site, there is a competition. Both are existed. Antigen is there and drug is also there. So in between these two, there is a competition to bind with the receptor. Now coming to the drug. The drugs are designed in such a way to have more binding ability towards the receptor site when compared with the antigen. Therefore, in this competition, the drug first bind with the receptor. The drug first bind with the receptor, and it prevented the access of, when it first bind with the receptor, the drug prevented the access of antigen onto the receptor. In the absence of drug, the antigen bind. Now in the presence of drug, the drug has more binding ability to bind with the receptor than the antigen. Therefore, in the presence of a drug, the drug first bind with the receptor. Why it first binds? Because it has more ability. So that it first bind with the receptor. and occupy the receptor site. Thereby, it prevented the access of antigen to bind onto the receptor. So, the antigen fails to bind. Is it clear? Now, after binding a drug molecule with the receptor, it will correct the function of. So it prevented, number one, it prevented the access of antigen onto the receptor. Antigen never allowed to bind with the receptor in the presence of drug. Next, after binding to the receptor, a drug molecule corrected the functions of receptor. After some time, it corrected the functions of receptor. That leads to correction of all biochemical processes. All biochemical processes will be corrected. When the function of receptor is corrected, simultaneously the biochemical processes of the cell were also corrected. So when all functions of the cell were corrected, there is no cellular disturbances leading to relief from the specific disease. Is it clear? So that is the action of pharmacodynamic action of a drug molecule. Is it clear? Now, after some time, you clearly observe, after some time, the whole drug is consumed. The whole drug is consumed and it leave from the site of receptor. Are you following? Now, whatever the concentration we applied for the treatment of these kind of diseases which arise due to the dysfunctioning of receptor, you keenly observe after some times the concentration of the drug is completed, that is dropped down, and it leave from the receptor site. Then we would expect that after leaving a drug molecule from the receptor site, again the antigen may be bound with the receptor. Are you following? After leaving a drug molecule, as its concentration is dropped down from the receptor site, we would expect again the antigen may bind with the receptor site and again initiated the disease. But we already discussed that the functional group provided on a receptor site are different to bind with the drug and also to bind with the antigen, that is the functional group to which the drug bind, the antigen never bind with the same functional group, because to bind the antigen to the receptor, separate functional groups are provided. That is, a drug and antigen both will bind with different functional group on the same receptor site, not with the same functional group. Is it clear? Now, under this situation, a drug after binding, while binded or after binding with the receptor functional group, it will damage the all other functional group which are meant to bind with the antigen. Are you following? Simple phenomena. A receptor has a functional group different to bind with drug and to bind with antigen. A functional group to which the drug bind never bind with the antigen. So there is a separate chairs on a receptor for drug and for antigen. Now initially when the drug bind with the receptor, it damage all the other functional group present on a receptor to which the antigen bind, so that while leaving a drug from the receptor site, after complete drop down of its concentration, now antigen slowly comes together or come near to antigen, and whatever the functional group provided to bind with antigen is damaged. Therefore, to the damaged functional group, the antigen never bind. So this is exact mechanism involved, a molecular level mechanism involved between drug and antigen. Before application of the drug molecule, no functional groups were damaged, therefore antigen bind and initiated cellular disturbances and diseases. Once the drug is applied, it bind with the receptor and then damage the other functional group in order to prevent the binding of antigen after its leaving from the receptor site, so that the antigen never bind with the damaged functional group. Therefore, again the disease may not be initiated. So this is exact target of the drug action, to bind after binding with the receptor. Is it clear? Now coming to the second target for drug action, ion channel. Ion channel. Now let us discuss what are the ion channels. A membrane spacing protein. Say a cell is, whatever the components of the cell is enclosed with a protein layer called a cell wall. Cell wall. Say for example, this is the cell. Say this is the cell. Inside the cell there is a biochemical process. A biochemical process. A plus B is transforming into C with an enzyme. Now this is the surface of the cell. So all the components of the cell is enclosed with a semi-permeable protein layer called a cell wall. Now on the surface of the cell, there is a gate. On the surface of the cell there is a gate-like provision. Gate-like provision. Now this is called as ion channel. That is a membrane spacing protein. Membrane spacing protein present on a cell surface. Cell surface. Now this will provide a space. This gate will provide a space to be enter some material inside the cell. So a membrane spacing protein present on a cell surface are called as ion channels. Ion channels. Their function is to allow or to prevent. The function of the ion channel, these are the ion channel. These are the ion channel. So all the ion channels are linked internally with the receptor. This is receptor, plus or minus. Plus sign stands for open, minus sign stands for closing of ion channel. So coming to, this is receptor. So a membrane spacing protein present on a cell surface is called as ion channel. It is internally connected with the receptor. Only with the response of receptor, this will open, the ion channel may provide some space, and only with the response of receptor the space will be closed. So a membrane spacing protein acts like a gate. Only with the response of owner the gate is opened. What is the owner? Receptor is the owner. Only with the response of owner the gate may be closed by a watchman. Like that. In the same way, this gate, this is called as ion channel. This gate is opened or closed by the response of only receptor. Is it clear? As that earlier we discussed that the receptor, all the biochemical processes were under the control of receptor. Therefore it is internally connected with a ion channel. Is it clear? Now coming to functioning. Why it is provided? Why it is present on a cell surface? Its function is to allow or to prevent certain ions. Now the function of channel, ion channel, is to allow to enter the ion from outside into inside, or to prevent the entry of ion from outside into inside. So it may be permitted the ions to enter into the cell, it may be stopped the ionic entry inside the cell. Is it clear? Now, whatever the ions outside the cell, if needed for biochemical process, any ion if needed for biochemical process, now this receptor will give the message to the ion channel to be open and to allow the needy ion to be enter. Then the ion channel provides some space with respect to the size of the ion. The space is provided. So whatever the ion required for biochemical process, that will be detected by the receptor, and receptor will give the message to the ion channel to be allow a particular ion from outside to enter inside the cell. Thereby the ion channel provided, it opens, it provides a space exactly with respect to the size of the ion. Then only that ion is allowed to enter, only the ion which is essential for biochemical process is allowed to enter inside the cell. The remainder ions which are not useful, which are not essential, are not needed for biochemical process, were prevented by their entry through the ion channel. So this acts like a gate. Whatever the ion which required for biochemical process will allowed, the remaining ions are prevented to enter into the cell. So all this is regulated by the receptor. Only with the response of receptor, the channel is opened and allowed the ions to enter. Why the ion should be enter? Why should the ions to be enter through the ion channel? Because ions have hydrophilic nature, that is water soluble nature, whereas the cell wall is hydrophobic in nature. This is the cell wall which is hydrophobic in nature, hydrophobic cellular, bilayer, hydrophobic, bilayer. Now ions are hydrophilic. The ions are hydrophilic in nature, are unable to penetrate into the cell through the hydrophobic bilayer of cell wall. Is it clear? So the ions are hydrophilic in nature. They are unable to enter or unable to penetrate through the cell wall because it is a hydrophobic bilayer. So hydrophilic components are never allowed to enter through the hydrophobic bilayer, that is cell wall. Therefore there is a provision. Now because of their requirement, ions are required, but the cell wall never permit to enter through it due to its hydrophobicity. Therefore there is a provision of membrane spacing protein, that is called as ion channel. So there is a provision for ionic entry inside the cell, which are essential for biochemical process. Is it clear? So this is about ion channel, a membrane spacing protein present on a cell surface to allow or to prevent the ionic entry through it. Now it internally connected with the receptor. Therefore only with the receptor, response from the receptor, the gate may be, ion channel may be open or ion channel may be closed. So this is the normal functioning of ion channel. Is it clear? Now if any antigen bind with this receptor, then the receptor will fail to give a message to ion channel. When an antigen bind with the receptor may not give the message to the ion channel. Therefore, the ion channel fails its functioning. The ion, when it unable to receive a message from receptor due to antigen binding, the ion channel fails in its normal function. Therefore, the ionic entry continuously occurs inside the cell. So, under the condition of closed gate, the ion is required for biochemical process. It may not be permitted. Under the conditions of opening gate, the ions which are not required for biochemical process can also enter into the cell. So all the ionic entry occurs. The ions which are not needed for biochemical process may also enter through the ion channel, as it fails to close or it fails to open. Overall, the ion channel fails to functioning. Therefore, the ions whatever entered into the cell may disturb all biochemical process, produced cellular effects. Cellular effect called as disease, called as diseases. Are you following? Now here the disease arises due to what? Due to the dysfunctioning of ion channel, not properly working. The ion channel, if not properly worked, all the ions may be entered into the cell, causes disturbance of biochemical processes, leading to cellular effects called as disease. So the disease arises due to the dysfunctioning of the ion channel. Is it clear? Therefore, under this condition, the ion channel become a prime target for the drug action. Prime targets for the drug action. Is it clear? Why ion channels become a target for drug action? Why should a drug bind with the ion channel? Because due to the dysfunctioning of ion channel, there may be a cellular effects, cellular disturbances, that is diseases. Therefore, the ion channels are also becoming a target for drug action. Now, under these circumstances, a drug may bind with the ion channel. Say this is a drug. A drug may bind with the ion channel because its target is ion channel to set its function to a normal. So a drug, a bind, after its administration, it reaches to the target. What is the target here? Ion channel is the target. A drug, after reaching to the ion channel, it bind with the channel and block the channel. It acts like the drug acts like a lock. It closed the gate or it locked the gate after binding with the ion channel and correct the functions of gate and correct the functions of ion channel, leading to correction in the cellular biochemical that is disturbances in the bio processes or biochemical transformation, which leads to correction in the cellular effects, relieving from the disease. So this is the pharmacodynamic action of the drug to bind. After binding with its target, the target will be ion channel. So a disease may be arised from ion channels. Now coming to the the third target for the drug action, that is enzyme. The third target for the drug action will be the enzyme. First target is receptor, just now we discussed. The second target will be ion channel, also discussed. And coming to the third target is enzymes. Now let us discuss why the enzymes become a target for drug action. Now under certain circumstance, under certain condition or certain circumstances, whatever the circumstances may be arised environmentally or may be arised genetically. Under certain circumstances, if the enzyme inside the body, human or animal body, whatever the enzymes existed inside the body, inside the cell of the body, what is the functioning of enzyme? To catalyze the biochemical process. The enzymes always catalyzes the biochemical process which are happening inside the cell. Now, under certain circumstances, overactivation or more activation of enzymes of human or animal body leading to various cellular effects called as various diseases. So overactivation of enzymes inside the body causes a cellular defects or cellular effects called as various diseases. So a disease may be arised due to what? Overactivation of enzyme. Is it clear? So similar to receptor dysfunctioning and ion channel dysfunctioning, the dysfunctioning of enzyme, body's own enzyme, that dysfunctioning means overactivation, causes a cellular effects, nothing but called as diseases. Therefore, the enzymes are also becoming a target for drug action. Now, whatever the disease arises due to the overactivation of enzyme, now what will be the target? The target will be the enzyme. The drug whatever administered must be reached to target and bound with the specific enzyme which is overactivated. And the drug should inhibit the activity of enzyme for certain time. Thereby, it decreases the activation of enzyme and correct the functions of cell and then relieved from the disease. Is it clear? Example, you take inflammation. Example, you take inflammation. Inflammation, it is a kind of disease. What is inflammation? What is inflammation? A series of consequences that happen onto the living tissue after its injury. A series of consequences happen to the living tissue after its injury is called as inflammation. Let us, what happens first? After the injury of living tissue, what happens? A bleeding, the rupture of cell wall. The rupture of cell wall and then bleeding, after that a clotting, after that swelling, So these are a series of changes that we observe on a living tissue after its injury. First, rupture of cell wall, followed by bleeding, followed by clotting of the blood, followed by there is a swelling at the site of injury. Injury site will be swelled. So this is called as inflammation. Let us discuss why and how the inflammation occurs now. Now, at the site of injury, when the cell wall get ruptured, the cell consisting of arachidonic acid. What we are discussing? We are discussing about why the enzymes becoming a target for drug action. For that, we have taken one example of inflammation. What is inflammation? A series of changes that happen to the living tissue after its injury. Just now we observed what are the consequences or what are the series of changes. Now coming to the cause of the inflammation, the exact cause for the inflammation. Now, after the injury to the living tissue, the cell wall get ruptured, that is broken, thereby the arachidonic acid present inside the cell is exposed to air. That leads to aerial oxidation. Arachidonic acid existed inside the cell. When cell wall is ruptured, when it exposed to sunlight or it exposed to air, causes aerial oxidation that gives a peroxide derivative of arachidonic acid. A peroxide derivative, there is a peroxidation, peroxide derivative of arachidonic acid. Is it clear? So this is arachidonic acid undergo aerial oxidation to give a peroxide derivative of arachidonic acid. It is a dicarboxylic acid with an 18 carbons. In between the carbons there is a peroxide bond, that is carbon, oxygen, oxygen and again carbon bond. Is it clear? Then after that, an enzyme that is called as cyclooxygenase. Cyclooxygenase 2. This is the specific enzyme called as cyclooxygenase 2, abbreviated as COX2. Cyclooxygenase enzyme 2 is further oxidized. The cyclooxygenase enzyme get further oxidized the peroxide derivative of arachidonic acid to produce prostaglandins. Prostaglandins, that is, in the presence of cyclooxygenase 2 enzyme, the peroxide derivative of arachidonic acid produced a prostaglandins. These derivatives are converted into prostaglandins, abbreviated as PG. There are different types: prostaglandin E1, prostaglandin D1, D2, E2, etc. Different type of prostaglandin depending upon the size of the ring. Now, again, arachidonic acid through aerial oxidation converted into a peroxide derivative. This, in the presence of cyclooxygenase 2 enzyme, is transformed into prostaglandin, that is PG. Is it clear? Now, coming to inflammation. Now, say this is the injury site. When injury occurs, cell wall get ruptured, the arachidonic acid of the cell is exposed to the air. There is a aerial oxidation followed by involvement of cyclooxygenase enzyme to be transformed a peroxide derivative into prostaglandin. Is it clear? That is, in the injury cells, say this is injury site, in the injury cells, n number of prostaglandins will be produced. When the living tissue get injured, inside the cell, n number of prostaglandins are produced. So, when n number of prostaglandins are produced, all may not be accommodated within the small cell. Within the small cell, that leads to expansion of cell wall. Cell walls are get expanded. Now, at the site of injury cell, more number of prostaglandins are produced inside the cell. All may not be accommodated by the smaller cell, leading to cell wall expansion. So all side of the cell wall get expanded. When the cell wall get expanded, that leads to swelling called as inflammation. So here the inflammation is due to what? The inflammation to the injury cell or living tissue after its injury is due to the presence of cyclooxygenase. Only because of cyclooxygenase prostaglandins are produced. Again, why the living tissue gets swelled? Due to production of more number of prostaglandins inside the cell. So all prostaglandins may not be accommodated the cell, that leading to the expansion of cell walls. When the cell wall get expanded, there may be a swelling called as inflammation. Now inflammation is due to the production of prostaglandin. Prostaglandin production is due to what? Due to the activation of cyclooxygenase enzyme. Due to the activation of cyclooxygenase enzyme. Now here, to reduce the inflammation, it is a kind of disease. Now we have to apply drug. Where should the drug to be act? The drug should be reach to injury cell and bind with an enzyme. Why should it bind with enzyme? Because of involvement of enzyme only prostaglandins are produced, causes inflammation. Therefore, to treat the inflammation, the target for the drug action will be the cyclooxygenase enzyme. This is cyclooxygenase enzyme. Is it clear? Now when we apply a drug, the drug will go and bind with the cyclooxygenase enzyme. So in this case, the drug bind with the cyclooxygenase enzyme and inhibited its activity. This enzyme contains a OH functional group on its serine residue. What is an enzyme? Enzyme is a polypeptide or protein with a prosthetic group. Now protein in terms made from polypeptide. Polypeptide in terms joining of amino acid, a monomers linearly to get polypeptide. Now we have a serine is the amino acid. The cyclooxygenase enzyme consisting of one serine residue, that is an amino acid. We know there is a free functional group, OH functional group. Now a drug molecule. Now a suitable drug will be ibuprofen. Ibuprofen is an anti-inflammatory drug. It consisting of carboxylic acid group. The ibuprofen is an anti-inflammatory drug which contain a carboxylic acid group. Now when the drug is targeted onto the cyclooxygenase enzyme, the drug will reach out to cyclooxygenase enzyme and bind with its OH functional group through ester bond, through the ester bond formation, which is irreversible. Thereby, when OH group is not free on enzyme, because the drug COOH of the drug bind with the OH group. In brief, so the target for the drug action in order to reduce the inflammation is the cyclooxygenase enzyme. Therefore, the drug will go and bind with the cyclooxygenase enzyme and inhibit its activity. So when the enzyme activity is inhibited, there is no production of prostaglandin. When the prostaglandin production is stopped, the number of prostaglandin inside the cell will be decreased. When the number is decreased, the inflammation is relieved. That causes reduction in the inflammation or swelling, reduction in the swelling. Is it clear? Now, simultaneously, when the living tissue get injured, that inflammation and also causes the fever. In addition to inflammation at the injury site, it also causes fever. Why causes the fever? In addition to inflammation, there may be a fever occurs. Why? Because in addition to prostaglandin production in the living tissue, that is injury cell, the prostaglandins are also produced in the hypothalamus, in the central nervous system, that disturb the hypothalamus. Hypothalamus is present in the central nervous system, which will control, its function is to control the body temperature. When hypothalamus is disturbed by the prostaglandin production, are you following? So prostaglandin production not only leads to inflammation, also leads to disturbance of hypothalamus. Hypothalamus is an organ. It controls the body temperature. When the hypothalamus gets disturbed by the prostaglandin, the hypothalamus unable to control the body temperature causes raise of the temperature called as fever. So once the cyclooxygenase enzyme is inhibited, it stops the prostaglandin production, relieved from the, not only from the inflammation, it also relieved from the fever. So this is the condition where the enzymes are becoming a targets. Now we will see another example. Now we will see another example. You take a central nervous system. A central nervous system. It consists of a neurotransmitters. It consisting of a neurotransmitter. In brief, it consists of central nervous system consisting acetylcholine, it is abbreviated as ACH. Central nervous system contain acetylcholine, abbreviated as ACH, and also contain dopamine. Now these two are neurotransmitters present in the central nervous system. That is, both acetylcholine as well as dopamines are neurotransmitters synthesized in central nervous system. Now acetylcholine acts as a excitatory component. Acetylcholine acts as a excitatory component. Whenever necessary, it excites our central nervous system for certain time. Now dopamine acts as a depressory component. Dopamine acts as a depressory component. Now we are discussing about why the enzymes are becoming a target for drug action. Now for that we have taken one example as inflammation, treatment of inflammation by inhibiting the enzyme through the drug. Now other example, we are discussing other example regarding the disease arised from central nervous system. Now let us see how the diseases arise. The central nervous system synthesizes acetylcholine as well as dopamine. Acetylcholine acts as the excitatory component. Whenever needs, it excites the central nervous system, and dopamine acts as a depressory component. It controls the excitatory functioning of central nervous system. It brings the central nervous system under normal condition. Is it clear? Now, in the normal person, concentration of acetylcholine and concentration of dopamine will be under 1:1. Are you following? One component is excitatory, which excites central nervous system. One component is depressory, which depresses the central nervous system. Under normal person, acetylcholine excitatory component and dopamine depressory components are in equal concentration in the central nervous system, that is existed under 1:1 ratio. That means what? So whatever the extent of acetylcholine causes the excitation of central nervous system, to the same extent the dopamine causes dopamine depress the central nervous system. The rate of excitation of central nervous system will be equal to the rate of depression. So these two, when existed under 1:1 condition, keep the nervous system under control. Are you following? So excitatory component and depressory components are under 1:1 ratio in the normal person. As the rate of excitation of central nervous system will be equal to the rate of depression of central nervous system. If this is so, the central nervous system will be under control. Is it clear? So this is happen in the normal person. So in the central nervous system, these two are existed in 1:1 ratio. In earlier we discussed about the central nervous system, acetylcholine as well as dopamine synthesized in the central nervous system, and these two be existed in 1:1 ratio. Now the excess acetylcholine what is the meaning of excess? So whatever the proportion of acetylcholine required existed in the central nervous system, the remaining, that is the excess, after keeping the ratio in 1:1. So whatever the remaining acetylcholine, excess acetylcholine as well as excess dopamine, keeping 1:1 ratio. So whatever the other excess proportion, other proportion of dopamine called as excess dopamine. Both excess acetylcholine, after keeping their ratio or their concentration in 1:1 in the central nervous system, the excess acetylcholine and excess dopamine are metabolized. Now this excess acetylcholine is metabolized by acetylcholinesterase enzyme. Excess acetylcholine is get metabolized by acetylcholinesterase enzyme and excreted from the body. Excreted from the body. Is it clear? Now the excess dopamine is metabolized in the presence of monoamine oxidase enzyme. Excess acetylcholine is metabolized with acetylcholinesterase enzyme ACHE and excreted from the body. The remaining excess dopamine is also metabolized by monoamine oxidase enzyme MAO enzyme and excreted from the body. Excreted from the body. So this is the process of reactions happen inside the central nervous system under normal person. So central nervous system contains acetylcholine as well as it contains dopamine. One acts as an excitatory component, other acts as depressory component. So these two are existed in 1:1 ratio in a normal person. So the other proportion called as excess acetylcholine, excess dopamine, always eliminated from the central nervous system by the process of their metabolism. Acetylcholine get metabolized by acetylcholinesterase enzyme and excreted from the body as choline and acetic acid. The dopamine is also metabolized in the presence of monoamine oxidase enzyme and excreted from the body. This is under normal person. Now if any circumstances, any whatever it may be, if any circumstances causes overactivation of these two enzymes, either acetylcholinesterase enzyme or MAO enzyme. If, for example, if this enzyme, acetylcholinesterase enzyme, is more activated, if it is more activated, what happens? The rate of hydrolysis the rate of metabolism. Are you following? Under any circumstances, if the acetylcholinesterase enzyme is overactivated, more activated, what happens? The rate of metabolism of acetylcholine increases. Its rate increases. Rate increases. I think you are following. So when acetylcholinesterase enzyme is more activated than the normal, then the rate of metabolism. Why should it get metabolism? The excess to be eliminated from the brain, from the central nervous system. So if the enzyme is more activated, the rate of metabolism in order to excrete from the body increases. When the rate of acetylcholine metabolism increases, what happens? This enzyme causes metabolism of excess acetylcholine as well as the acetylcholine to be existed in the central nervous system. That is, acetylcholine excess is hydrolyzed, metabolized. Because of more activation, here this acetylcholine is also hydrolyzed. Are you following? When its activation is more, excess acetylcholine get hydrolyzed and excreted, as well as the proportion of acetylcholine to be existed in the central nervous system will also hydrolyzed and excreted. That means its concentration, acetylcholine initially it existed in 1:1 ratio. When this enzyme is overactivated, the acetylcholine concentration decreases. Acetylcholine concentration decreases. That is, excitatory component concentration decreases. When its concentration decreases, the dopamine concentration increases. That leads to a depression. When the concentration of acetylcholine, that is excitatory component, is decreased, that leads to increase in the depressory component. So that causes a depression. So overactivation of this enzyme causes depression. A disease called as depression. Are you clear? Now coming to here, this side, other side. Under any circumstances, if similar to that, if MAO enzyme, monoamine oxidase enzyme, this is the enzyme metabolized excess dopamine to excrete from the central nervous system. If any circumstance that can cause overactivation or more activation of monoamine oxidase enzyme, then it will hydrolyze, it will causes the metabolism of excess dopamine as well as the dopamine to be existed in the central nervous system and excreted. Both excess dopamine is metabolized because of its overactivation. The dopamine to be existed in the central nervous system, whatever the proportion to be existed in the central nervous system, get also metabolized and excreted. What happens? The dopamine concentration decreases. Under the conditions of decreasing dopamine, are you following? When MAO enzyme is overactivated, in addition to excess dopamine metabolism, the dopamine to be existed in a central nervous system get also metabolized and excreted, so that its concentration in the central nervous system decreases. Now under the conditions of decreasing dopamine concentration, what happens? Acetylcholine concentration increases. Now when acetylcholine concentration decreases, dopamine concentration increases, causes depression. When dopamine concentration decreases, acetylcholine concentration increases. Are you following? That is, the excitatory component concentration increases, the depressor component concentration decreases. Under that condition, the central nervous system will be excited for a longer time, than the normal, because excitatory component concentration decreases. When MAO enzyme is overactivated, excess dopamine as well as the dopamine to be existed in the central nervous system, both will be metabolized and excreted, so that the dopamine concentration decreases, thereby acetylcholine concentration increases. That means excitatory component concentration increases, depressory component decreases, concentration decreases in the central nervous system. When excitatory component concentration increases, the central nervous system will be activated for a longer time. That causes a psychotic problems called as schizophrenic disease. Schizophrenic disease. Called as schizophrenia. A psychic problems are arised called as overactivation of central nervous system or activation of central nervous system for a longer time causes schizophrenia. That is a psychic problems, or sometimes it causes Parkinsonism. Parkinsonism. When the central nervous system is overactivated for a longer time, the nervous system is not under control. When the nervous system is not under control, that is the hands or neck or whatever the body will be shaken, called as Parkinsonism disease. The hands will be shaken because the central nervous system is not under control. Therefore, there may be a shaking of the hands or neck, etc., that called as Parkinsonism disease. Are you following? Now you see, we observed in this schematic representation, we observed two type of disease. One is depression, other one is schizophrenia and Parkinsonism disease. Why these kind of disease arise? These disease may be arised due to, the depression is arised due to overactivation of acetylcholine enzyme, steerase enzyme, and schizophrenia or Parkinsonism is arised due to overactivation of MAO enzyme. Now, for the treatment of these kind of disease, the disease arises from overactivation of enzyme. Therefore, the enzymes are becoming a target for drug action. So, whatever the drug we use for the treatment of either schizophrenia or Parkinsonism will bind with monoamine oxidase enzyme and inhibited its functioning, thereby correct the concentration of both transmitters in the central nervous system. Similarly, the drugs which are used for the treatment of depression will go and bind with acetylcholine steerase enzyme and inhibited its activity. After some time, it corrected the concentration of the neurotransmitters in the central nervous system. So, for the treatment of these kind of diseases, the disease which arises from the overactivation of enzyme, the drug, the targets become, the prime targets becoming a enzymes for the drug action. Is it clear? Now, coming to another example. Now you take another type of examples, how the enzymes are becoming a target for drug action. A diseases may also arise from microorganism, infective microorganisms. The other type of diseases may also arise due to infective microorganism entry into the host cell. Is it clear? Now, for the treatment of these kind of diseases, before going to treatment of disease, after entering a infective microorganism into the host cell, it should be integrated. It will be integrated to increase its number in the host cell. Are you following? We are going to discuss about how and why enzymes are becoming a target for the drug action. Why the drug should bind with enzyme? To show its action upon the enzyme in order to relieve the disease. For that, we have discussed about one is inflammation, other one is the treatment of like schizophrenia, Parkinsonism, and also a depression by targeting the specific enzymes. In the first case, we targeted cyclooxygenase enzyme. In the second example, we targeted acetylcholinesterase enzyme and monoamine oxidase enzyme for the drug action. Now, the other type of diseases may arise from infective microorganism. When the infective microorganism enters into the host cell, it should be integrated, it will be integrated and improved its number. How it will integrated and improved its number? When it integrated and improved its number, it can attack our defense mechanism. That defense mechanism is failed to protect the cell from the infective microorganism, that leading to a disease. Now let us see how it is integrated and improved its number in the host cell before going to treat. Now, a infective microorganism when entered into the host cell, first it synthesizes purine pyrimidine bases. Now we are going to study about how the microorganism get integrated and improved its number in the cell. First, in order to integrate, it synthesizes purine and pyrimidine bases, say involving E1 enzyme. A purine and pyrimidine bases are transformed into nucleoside involving E2 enzyme, and nucleosides are transformed into nucleotides. Purine and pyrimidine base with sugar and phosphate unit involving E3 enzyme, and nucleotides are linearly joined by E4 enzyme to get single strand DNA. Single strand DNA. First, the single strand DNA in the presence of say E5 enzyme, it transformed into double strand DNA, double strand DNA. After this, in the presence of E6 enzyme, it synthesizes cell wall. It synthesizes, or DNA will be enclosed with a cell wall. After a cell wall has been synthesized and enclosed all the DNA, that is genetic material, it gives a new particle. A new particles of microorganism. This will undergo cell division. That will undergo cell division, thereby integrated. Now you see, a diseases may also arise from the infective microorganism due to their integration and increasing their population in the host cell. Now just now we discussed, when the population of the microorganism improved in the host cell, that will attack on our defense mechanism, thereby the defense mechanism fails to protect the cell, causes a disease. Now to integrate, in order to improve their population, the microorganism is integrated in this way. The microorganism, after entering into the host cell using A1 enzyme, it synthesizes first purine and pyrimidine bases, which are starting materials for the synthesis of DNA. Purine and pyrimidine bases, in presence of E2 enzyme, combine with sugar unit to give a nucleoside. After that, in presence of E3 enzyme, combine with the phosphate unit gives a nucleotide. A purine and pyrimidine bases combination with sugar and phosphate unit. And nucleotides are linearly joined in presence of E4 enzyme to get a single strand DNA. In presence of E5 enzyme, we will get a double strand DNA. After double strand DNA has been synthesized, the microorganism synthesizes cell wall in presence of E6 enzyme. Once the cell wall has been synthesized, the genetic material of microorganism, which itself synthesized, will be enclosed to give a new particle, new microorganism particle that may involved in the cell division in order to integrate to improve their population, thereby causes disease. Is it clear? Now coming to the drugs. To treat these kind of disease, a disease arised from infective microorganism, we have to design and targeted the drug. Now what is our prime target? Our target is to prevent the integration of microorganism, to relieve from the disease. In order to relieve from the disease caused by the microorganism, our target is to prevent its integration or is to kill the microorganism, either to prevent its growth or that is its integration, or to kill. Say for example, we have many chances to prevent its integration. Suppose we have a drug. If the drug is targeted onto the E1 enzyme that inhibited the synthesis of purine and pyrimidine, or if the drug is targeted onto E2 enzyme that inhibited nucleoside synthesis, or if it is targeted on E3 enzyme, inhibited nucleotide synthesis. If we target a drug onto E4 enzyme that inhibited the single strand DNA synthesis, if targeted on E5 enzyme, inhibited the single strand double strand DNA synthesis, if targeted on E6 enzyme, the cell wall synthesis can be prevented. So there are various ways, that is, the integration, the growth of microorganism can be prevented by inhibiting E1 enzyme or E2 enzyme or E3 enzyme or E4 enzyme or E5 enzyme or E6 enzyme, or whatever the enzymes which actively contributing in the growth of microorganism. When we inhibit the enzymes participated in the integration of microorganism in any stage of its integration, we can stop its integration or its growth. If we inhibit E1 enzyme, there may not be synthesis of purine and pyrimidine. When purine pyrimidine bases are not synthesized, there is no meaning of synthesis of the DNA has not been synthesized. Or if we inhibit E2 enzyme, nucleosides has not been synthesized. If nucleosides are not there, there is no nucleotide. If there is no nucleotide, there is no single strand DNA. If it is not there, there is no DNA. However, if DNA has been synthesized, if we stop the cell wall synthesis, however genetic material has been synthesized, if we stop its cell wall synthesis, there is no new bacteria, new microorganism particle. When there is no new microorganism, there is no cell division, there is no integration. So we can stop the growth of microorganism by targeting a specific enzymes involving actively in during the growth of microorganism. You can see there are many enzymes. Many enzymes are required or involved in the growth of microorganism. So overall, among all enzymes, if we can target any enzyme, then we can prevent its growth in the human host cell. So here the enzymes are becoming a prime targets for the drug action. So any drug molecule, in order to prevent its growth, may be designed to be bound with a specific enzyme contributing in the growth of integration. So this is the third target for the drug action, enzymes. So the drugs may be acting on enzymes to prevent certain kind of diseases. Earlier we have seen the two examples. Now this is the third example, how the drugs are how the enzymes are becoming a targets for the drug action, why the enzymes are becoming a target, and why the drug molecule bind with the enzyme, and how it is relieved from the specific diseases. So up to this I conclude my lecture. Now the next lecture includes the fourth target. What is the fourth target? The fourth target is carrier molecule. After completing the carrier molecule, that is fourth target, study of fourth target, that is carrier molecule, we will discuss the other topics. So with this I conclude my lecture. Thank you.